Hi guys, Jim here again with another Sudoku video, and today we'll be looking at an arrow Sudoku, which is brought to you by the Cracking the Cryptic team. Just a quick word about them before we jump into the puzzle. They are a couple of YouTubers who have been solving really beautiful and tricky logic puzzles for years now. Every day they upload at least a video, and yeah, largely centered around Sudoku, but actually all variants of puzzles really, and I just think they're terrific puzzle solvers, great entertainment on the channel, and they have provided these collections of puzzles which you can buy on Steam or on your phone, and they are based around the variations of Sudoku. So this is going to be one of those variations today. So if you like Sudoku, if it's something you're interested in, either playing yourself or watching other people solve it, and you're here, so hopefully you'll enjoy watching someone solve a Sudoku, otherwise you're not going to enjoy this video, then yeah, definitely worth checking out. So I'll leave a link in the description below. So let's jump into my own puzzle first though. So this is an arrow Sudoku. So if you'll recall, as I've been solving easier puzzles on this collection, it unlocks harder ones. So now I have access to puzzle number 4, although this is the 6th arrow puzzle that I have solved. It's a 2-star puzzle, so let's jump on in. Okay, and so what do we mean by an arrow Sudoku? So just so that you're aware, if this is the first time you're here, an arrow Sudoku is the same rules as regular Sudoku. So every box, row, and column must have the digits 1 through 9. In addition, though, you'll notice there are very few digits given in this. In addition, these arrows have appeared on the Sudoku grid. And what do these mean? Well, these tell you that the digit that goes here could be 1 through 9, because it's a regular Sudoku, it must actually be the sum of the digits on its arrow. So for instance, this could be a 3, a 2, and a 5. And that would satisfy this arrow. Obviously, it's got to satisfy the whole grid and the regular rules of Sudoku. And yeah, so it's an interesting kind of extra logical constraint, and you can see that it lets you do a lot. Well, it lets you get away with not doing many digits. This has only got 6 digits, so that's quite something. But yeah, that's it. So if you're playing along with me, then let me know. Otherwise, sorry, if you're playing along or whatever, yeah, let's get going. Right, so. So with arrows, you typically want to look at the longer arrows because they have the most constraint on the actual digits available to them. So these are interesting. So these are 5-cell arrows. So 5-cell arrows. Now, usually if you sum up the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you get 15. So clearly, you're going to have some repeats on here, which is allowed. Actually, I probably should have said that is allowed in arrow Sudoku. These can all be the same digit, as long as they obey the other rules of Sudoku. So in this case, these 3 digits obviously have to be different because they're on the same row. These 3 digits have to be different because they're on the same column. But that digit, yeah. So these 2 groups of 2 could be the same. In fact, let's ask that question. What if they are as low as possible? So this is a 1 and a 2, and this is a 1 and a 2. Actually, no, probably. Well, if this is a 1 and a 2 and this is a 1 and 2, that's 6. So if I then put a 3 here, which is the kind of next lowest available digit, that makes that a 9. But I just want to check that that works, because you could share. I think that's right, isn't it? Because if you put anything else, so if that's so this is a 2 and a 3, yeah, I think that's force, isn't it? So I think this is a 1-2 pair. These are each 1-2 pairs, and that's a 3, and that's a 9, and you can see we've actually got the same shape arrow here, so we must have the same logic on those. So so these are both 9s. Oh, you can't do that in this software. So that's a 9. That's a 9, that's a 3, and that's a 3, and then actually we can do a bit of work on the 1s, can't we? So that's a 1 and a 2 by the 1 down here. That's a 1 and a 2 by this one. This is a 1 and a 2 in that order by this one, and then this is a 1 and a 2 in that order as well. So wow, suddenly these arrows have done a lot of damage to the grid. They've really populated the grid. Okay, so what else can we do? Okay, so we've used the digits 1, 2, and 3 in this box now. So what can we next put on here? The next lowest digits available to us are 4 and 5. And actually, that's what they have to be, because if you put anything higher on them, then this digit would be more than 10. It would be 10 or greater. So that doesn't work. So these are a 4 or 5 pair, and that is a 9. Yes, that's going to be the same logic here, isn't it? So these are a 4 or 5 pair with a 9 in the bulb. Can we do any regular Sudoku on the grid, not worrying about the arrows for the moment? Yeah, we can do a bit. So we've got two ones there. And then in this box, so ones are limited to these 3 cells. So this could never be a 1, because what would you put on the arrow shaft? So actually there is a 1 on this arrow. So 1 in one of those 3, so that's not that useful. What about 2s? 2s are limited here. Let's just tick off any obvious Sudokuing we can do quickly. So that could be a 3. That bulb could be a 3 because that could be 3, a 1 and a 2. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 9, so I'm missing 6, 7 and 8, and that can't be a 6. Now how does this play with this arrow? Can I put an 8 on this arrow? Well, no, because I can't put a 9 in the box, in the bulb, so that's definitely not an 8. I could have put a 7 here. But if I put a 7, then this cell would have to be a 1 to make that an 8, which is the biggest it can be, but I can't actually put a 1 there because of that. So actually this is a 6, and this can't be a 1, so it must be a 2, because this 6, 2 here makes 8, which is the highest available to us. So that arrow is resolved, which is lovely. This is a 2 now, by the pencil marking we did earlier. This we've got, okay, so can I put a 2 in an arrow bulb? Well, no, I cannot, because these cannot both be 1. So in that case, I must have a 2 on here by these 2, using up these columns, and it can't go there, so it must go there, because we've got this 2 here, and that resolves the 1, and that tells us that that's actually a 3 in the bulb, which is nice. That gives us this 1 that we pencil marked in earlier. This box's 1 is revealed to us, and that's all the 1s, I think, which is nice. So in this box we've got 2s restricted to these 2 cells. Here this box is missing 6, 7, 8. Yeah, this is I think this is called roping. 6, 7, 8, where you get, is it roping? Where you get these trifles kind of repeating. So that's 1, 2 and 3, that's 6, 7, 8, and this is 9, 4 and 5. So these are 9, 4 and 5. That can't be a 4. Okay, is there anything else we can do? So we haven't used this arrow yet. Okay, so this arrow can't have a 1 or a 2 on it. So the smallest this arrow could be is 3, 4. So that could be a 7. So that could be, oh gosh, well that gave the game away. That could be a 7 or a 9, because there's an 8 here, so it's got to be at least a 7. So maybe a 7 or a 9. So that could be 4, 5. Yeah, so you don't even need to have a 3 on it, because if you needed to have a 3, then obviously the 3 would be given. So yeah, so I don't know if I can do much more with that just yet. Alright, let's try and do some regular old Sudokuing. Could I put a 6 on this arrow? I think I can, yeah. I could have a 6 and a 3, couldn't I? Okay. 6 is limited to 2 cells in that box. 6 can't go there. 6 is one of these 3 cells here, which isn't very useful. Okay, what about 3s? Thought I had a couple of 3s. Don't have a lot going on 3s, do I? About 9s. 9s in this box are limited to those 2 cells, which is not unhelpful. Okay. Here we go. So these two 9s and this 9 down here limit us to 9 in that box. Ah, how long has that been a 9? That's literally the first digit I got, and I didn't notice that that makes that not a 9, honestly. I've had some comments on here which have been around not spotting logic very quickly, which I completely agree with, and I really wish I could spot things faster, but I struggle, right? So that is a 3-4, because it can't be 1, 6 and 2, 5 because of these two in the box. That is a 3, 4, and that 3 I had spotted, so that is not a 9, that is a 3. And that's our last arrow clue sorted, isn't it? So this is now basically just a regular old Sudoku. So that's a 4 because this 4 and this 4 constrict the box. That's now a 4, leaving a 5, 9 pair, which is nice. Did this 7 help when I popped it in? There's a 7 over there, which is not unhelpful. 7 there, and then therefore 7 there. Again, these are not unhelpful pencil marks, but they're not the most productive pencil marks I've ever seen. What about 3s? Okay, 3s look a bit more useful. So that 3 is restricting 3s in that box to these two cells, which in turn restricts to those two. Ah, okay, this is nice then, isn't it? Yeah, so where does the 3 go in this column? Well, okay, let me just finish in the pencil. So in this box, 3 is limited to these cells. And now this gives us a nice pattern, which basically means that we've got this combination where either this is a 3 or this is a 3, right? There's only two options for the 3 in that box. One of them has got to be right. So if that's a 3, that then means this is a 3. The alternative, that's a 3, then this is a 3. So either way round, you've used up these two columns, so you couldn't put a 3 down here anywhere because you need the space in the columns above. So that's known as an X-wing. So in this box, the 3s must be in this column, and I've got a 3 over there, so I can limit my 3s to only 2 cells in that box. But that's not quite broken open the puzzle as it might have done. Ah, okay, this is a given 5, which means it was here from the very start, and this resolves the 4-5 pair like that. Honestly, what am I like? That then resolves this 4 and this 3 in the box, which is nice. That gives us that 3 up top. Honestly, I imagine it must be very frustrating watching this channel at sometimes. Right, there's a 5 limited to those 2 cells in that box. Can I do more damage on 4s? Not really. 4s are here, here, and here, which, while being a nice symmetrical pattern, is not a very useful one. What about up here? Ah, I don't know when this was available to me, but 9s in this top right-hand box can only go there, and that sorts out that 3. That also sorts out this 5-9 pair, which is very useful. Okay, so now this is nice. So we've got a 9-2 pair in this box, and so what is that telling us? Well, that is telling us that the 2 is limited to these 2 cells in this box, and the 9 is also limited to these 2 cells in the box, which means nothing else can go there because there's not enough space. So if this was a 6, because I've got a little 6 pencil mark, so oh, could this be a 6? If it was, where would the 9 and the 2 go? Well, they would have to both be in this cell, so that clearly doesn't work. So what I can do is denote my pencil marks like that. That gives me this little 2-9 pair, and then that can't be a 6, and in fact that leaves me with that having to be a 6, which is useful indeed. What have we got going on here? We've got 8s and 5s, and 8s and 5s. And this must be, oh, in fact, yeah, where does 5 go in this box? That's the only space left for it. So that is a 5 and an 8 in that order. That gives us a 5 in that box. This must be a 7 and a 2, which I can't quite resolve just yet, I don't think. Ah, well, I can do better. Sorry, not a 2. There's a 2, 9. Not a 2. I meant an 8. I don't know why I said 2. Clearly not a 2. Ones went hours ago, right? This is a 7-8 pair, which again I can't quite resolve just yet. can I do anything else with 3s? I thought 3s were being reasonably productive, weren't they? But ran into trouble. What am I missing from this box? 7 and 6? Yeah, and I'm not getting any help from across the way. This is almost interesting, isn't it? 7, 6. You've got to be careful. So there's a uniqueness property to Sudoku. So you know that the Sudokus that are presented in these puzzles must have a unique solution, and so you can, in theory, use that as logic, right? And so what am I going on about? If this was an 8, what you'd end up with is a 6-7 pair here and a 6-7 pair here, and it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter which order they went in, which means that the solution wouldn't be unique. So I therefore know that isn't an 8. There must be an 8 here. Now I don't like. Do I want to use that logic? Well, I mean, it doesn't give me a digit, so I'm going to ignore that for now because it sort of. It assumes that the puzzle is uniquely solvable without solving it uniquely. Like, do you know what I mean? So I kind of like, it sort of proves itself, which I don't like. So I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to leave it for now. But just be aware that if you end up with a 6-7 here and a 6-7 here, and there's no other logic that would sort that out, then that is not a valid Sudoku solution. But 6-7 has given me a solution here, because where in this row can we put a 6? Well, that 6 up there sorts that one out from being a 6, and that one can't be a 6 because the 6 is not. So the 6 in this row must be here. That is a 7 or an 8 to complete the row. That is also a 7 or an 8 to complete the row, which means that so that's nice, isn't it? So where can that be a 7 basically? Well, obviously that can't be a 7 because that's an 8. But yeah, so okay. Well, the logic I got there was a bit convoluted, but yes, that 7 here resolved my 7-8 quandary. That's 7. That's 7. That's 7, 8. Yeah. Oh wow, all of these 7 and 8s are being sorted out across the grid, which is obviously terrific. That is a 5 and a 6. Ah, yes, and the 6 up there, sorting us out again. So that 6 did double duty, didn't it? This is a 5 to complete the column. Yes, it is, and that sorts out this 4-5 pair. This is a 5 down here, and that's our last 5 in the grid, which is nice. God, we finished ones like what feels a long time ago. I'm missing something obvious, aren't I? That is an 8 and a 7 to complete the column. I'm going to end up with all of these fully pencil marked and having to find some horrible Y-wing or something, aren't I? 3, 4, and 8 here. That can't be a 3. That can't be a 4. 4s are down here. I mean, that's really not helpful, is it? Come on, what am I missing? I'm missing something really obvious, aren't I? I might just have to do a load of pencil marking, which it's a bad habit to be in, but I'm just going to have to pencil mark this whole grid, aren't I? Ah, no. Am I? No, this I think is naked. Can this only be a 4? I think this can only be a 4. So what's missing from this row? 4, 6, 7, and 8. And this sees a 6, 7, and an 8 up in this column. Yeah. The other question to ask That's a 4. Yeah, that is definitely a 4. Okay, that's an 8. That's a 3. Right, we've done it. We found the obvious one. There's a 7. There's an 8. There's a 6. There's a 7. There's an 8. There's a 6. There's a 7. There's a 3. There's a 2. There's a 9. There's a 2. Yes, look at that. My 6-7 pair. They were not. I was not trapped by my 6-7 pair there, as I thought I might be. There's a 9, and then finally a 6 to finish the puzzle. Cracking puzzle! Ah, yeah, arrows are great. I really like them. Bit of mental arithmetic required. Bit of knowledge about what low digits add up to high digits and that sort of thing. But yeah, terrific puzzle. Really enjoyed it. I hope you guys did if you were playing along. And I will see you in the next video. Cheers.